Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle podcast brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. I am John Schmeelk in the Hackensack Meridian Health podcast studio. Keep getting better. Today we welcome in from NBC Sports, Chris Sims. And now we welcome in the host of the Unbuttoned podcast. You can find them on NBC Sports. He is the one and only Chris Sims. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, John? I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. Exciting time of the year, right? A week from the draft. I always love that. It's kind of the culmination of the offseason and that last piece of the puzzle to what a team will look like and what hopes do we have for the next season and all that. So I'm excited, and especially for the Giants because I'm a Giants fan, as you know. I bleed blue. I got some friends with some other NFL teams, so I root for them too, but my real team is the New York Football Giants, no doubt about that.
Hold on. I feel out of place here. I think I need to. There we go.
Come on. Get your stuff straight, better. Man. Come on. Right. It's Chris Sims unbuttoned, or, I unbutton my mouth, but I never unbutton my top button or my zipper, as you could tell here in this case.
We must be fully zipped, that's for sure. Now, Chris, I know you don't do it this way. It's just the way your rankings work out. But a lot of times your quarterback rankings are some of the more unique ones every year. And frankly, a lot of times you're on the money and you get them right. This year, I feel like you're more in line with consensus. Tell me how you kind of came about with your rankings, just so the fans, if they haven't seen it. You have Ward in a tier by himself, Sanders and Dart in your second tier, Kyle McCord and Quinn Ewers in your third tier, and then you kind of have Schmeelk and Milroe as your next guys up.
Right. That's about right. Now, I think full transparency here. I don't love any of them except for one guy, and that's Cam Ward. I will sit here and tell you that if I was a GM or a team, I really wouldn't want any of them to be my starting quarterback for the future or any of it. All right? That's just what I'm going to say. Now, yeah, it's a year where Cam Ward to me is special. I would have put Cam Ward in the conversation last year with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams.
Wow, okay.
Maybe I would have had them 1-2 still. I was a big Caleb fan. I would have Caleb 1, Jaden 2. I think really if I was true to what I was evaluating last year, I'd have put Cam Ward 3. I had Bo Nix 4. I had J.J. McCarthy 5 and Drake May 6, right? If these quarterbacks, right, Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart were in last year's class, I think they're 7 and 8 in last year's class. That's how I kind of look at it. So I'm not in love with any of them and their talent or anything like that. Shedeur Sanders, there's some good, definitely. He's accurate. He stands there in the pocket. He can make throws under pressure. I think his arm's a little better than people give it credit for. Jackson Dart, I like him. He's very smooth in the pocket. You get to see lots of reads. He can make all the throws, but I don't say wow with his arm. And even though he can run when he sees a lane, I don't say wow with his movement in the pocket either, okay? Then I'm a little different with Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord, see, I'm not one to always go like, oh, I like this guy. He plays the quarterback position so perfect. I need to see some top-end talent that makes me think he can be something, right? And Kyle McCord, other than Cam Ward, made me say wow with more wow throws than anybody else in the draft. He has NFL starting potential from throwing in the pocket. He's not a great athlete. He needs to run more, but I like that. And I feel the same with Quinn Ewers. Sorry for the long answer, but Quinn Ewers, yes, it's not the most perfect film, and I'd wish he'd throw the ball with more authority. But when he does, I think he can do it easily. He's got lots of different arm angles, and I think those two guys, to me, have more high-end talent than the Tyler Shucks of the world or some of these other guys that we're talking about, that are down-the-line guys in the draft.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll go to Ewers and Schmeelk first, because I think both of them play loose in terms of how they use their arms, right? They both can go from different arm angles.
Right.
Yeah, and I just feel like they're very fluid with the way they play the position. Ewers, I feel like, tries to make the big throw and the right throw. Sometimes he's just maybe not quite talented enough to make it a lot of times.
Or he throws the changeup too much, right?
Yeah.
This is one of my frustrations with him. Because I know and I've seen he can throw the fastball and he can control it.
At the combine, he looked great throwing deep down the field on those deep outs.
And some of those 15 and 20-yard out routes you see in the season, you go, man, if you threw that with some authority, the guy would have had a chance maybe the catch, or it wouldn't have got knocked down just as the ball got there. So you got to decipher through it. I see it, but yes, there's too many relaxed. Oh, I'm going to time it out. I'm going to throw with rhythm. And in the end, it can't always be like that. Sometimes you got to go, hey, he's open, the window's tight. I got to throw the fastball 100 miles per hour here. And I wish he would do that more, John.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. How much of the shook stuff is the age and the injury? How much is I think he does get a little panicky in the pocket sometimes when he gets pressure. I wonder if that has to do with the broken collarbones. What's the thing holding you back on Shook?
I just don't see big time high end talent, right? I see a guy that can play the position, but when I look at Shook, I just kind of go, I think this is a guy that's a really good backup for a long time. I don't think anything starting caliber type. It gives me Davis Mills vibes, right? Where just guys where it's like, we want him to be the guy. We want him to be the first rounder because he kind of looks at it and he's good decision maker. But I want to go, but what? But what are you going to hang your hat on? Like, he's not going to carry the squad when things break down. He's not going to make a oh wow throw into a tight window in big moments. That's not what he is. And I think this happens every year. The NFL always falls in love, and I'm not saying they're wrong here. They fall in love with a guy that they go, hey, wait, he's been coached by a good coach in Brom. He knows how to play quarterback. He makes good decisions. He's got good size. He can make all the throws. But I think there's a wow factor that's missing for me, at least when it comes to him.
All right, Jalen Milroe, the things that he needs to get better at, Chris.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to get better at those things, and how long could it take?
Right. It's a great question. I do college football, Big Ten for NBC on Saturdays, right? So I got to talk college football and, of course, watch Jalen Milroe. And I would say through the first 5-6 weeks of the year, I was going, he's going to be the number one pick of the draft. I mean, he was carrying Alabama, absolutely carrying them. I mean, we're not talking about a ton of defensive guys from Alabama this year. We're not talking about a ton of offensive guys in the draft from Alabama this year. He was the team, right? But it did fall apart. And there's things you worry about throwing mechanically. And the intricate part of this discussion is really natural throwers. You can fix with them. You can tinker with mechanics. Right, I've seen Tom Brady tinkered with his mechanics 2 or 3 different times through his career, and I could show you different things and go, look, he's throwing the ball a different way. We saw Aaron Rodgers come out and have the ball up here by his ear, right? And he can make the adjustment. But those natural gifted throwers, right? Where Tim Tebow, I'd go, he can't throw anything. And you can give him all the quarterback coaches in the world. You'll never fix him. He's not capable because whether it's throwing a rock or a baseball or whatever, he just ain't that good of a thrower, period. And you're not going to fix it. That's what I'm worried about with Jalen Milroe. That's what I worry. How natural is it? And that's where the private workouts and things like that will come in handy. His wow throws, when he's on his game, it's like, holy crap, look at him spin that ball. That's a laser right there. But the other side of that is you could watch a game and go, there's 10 throws, and damn, he hasn't hit the target yet. It's been all over the place. And he's got some mechanical issues as far as he keeps a very stiff upper body. He doesn't get his body in position.
Yeah, he doesn't torque. There's no torque. It's all arm.
Because he's got a gifted arm. It's flexible. So he's been able to get away with that. But to be consistent, as you know, you've been around the game long enough, that you can rely on, because not every day you're going to just go, oh, I got it today. You know, when you sometimes go out in the driveway and you shoot a basketball and you're just like, I got it today. I don't even know how I'm shooting it, but it's just going in. It feels right. Bam. Quarterbacks have that same feeling too. But on the other side of that is you could have that day where you go in the driveway and you go, damn, I can't hit anything. Nothing feels good, whatever. Quarterbacks have that too. And that's where mechanics come in, because you go, wait, on my worst day, I can't not be good for my team. So I got to rely on my mechanics, and on my worst day, I still got to be pretty good. And that's what you worry about Jalen Milroe. And, yeah, I think he is a project, but he's such a phenomenal athlete. I certainly see a team could take a chance on him in the top 45, top 50. I don't expect first round, though, John.
No, I'm with you. And, look, the Giants pick at 34, so that'd be a spot that I would keep an eye on there.
I hear you. I hear you.
So a lot's been made, Chris, of the Giants doing these private quarterback workouts over the next few days. A lot of that is scheduling based, why it's taking place now.
Right.
I guess my question for you as a guy that played the position, what are the teams trying to get out of these private workouts and then getting on the boards with the guys like they did at the 30 visits and meeting and face-to-face, having dinner, all that stuff? What are teams trying to get out of that maybe they haven't been able to get out of the combine meetings, the pro day workout, the tape, things like that?
Right, you can never have enough information, right? That's you always want more. Let me get to know the guy more. This is a big investment. I mean, my life is on the line here, my livelihood, my family, everything. So let me get around that guy and get a better feel. And then, yes, you start, the more private the workout and the setting is, you can really dig into, hey, what is he capable of learning on the board? Let's take him out for a walkthrough and kind of go through those things. Let's take him back. Let's see how much he remembered. Can he teach us back, right? Those are things, again, that's part of the quarterback world, like it or not. I mean, Wednesday is a crash course of plays, defense. You know how it works in the NFL on a Wednesday, Thursday. So you got to be smart, and you got to be able to compartmentalize and really figure things out and direct traffic. The other thing is you get another up-close look in person. The film can be deceiving sometimes. You can, hey, good completion. You get that in there in person and you go, man, the ball doesn't pop out of his hands. He doesn't throw like special spin it spirals. Wait, in college he threw this route a lot, but on my offense, I like to run this route a lot. Let me give him a whole bunch of plays where he's got to throw this route off of play action, on the move, all that. Ooh, that's not very good. I don't know if I like that, right? So that's what you get from that. And I think that's what they're trying to do. And also, here's the other thing, John, to me, why this is all happening. Because we're getting to the time, and I've been saying this for a few weeks on Pro Football Talk with Florio and my podcast. One, I've been saying from the get-go that if Shedeur Sanders, the Saints don't take him at 9 and the Steelers don't take him at 21, he can be sitting there on the board at 34. It's not that crazy. Or at 27, any of them. I think they could all be there except for Cam Ward when we get to 27 and 28. And I think teams, as they've gotten better here, and of course the most important evaluators have gotten a feel for the draft and all that, I think that's why, hey, Dayball wasn't going to go to the Colorado workout. But I think they probably went back into the draft room and they're like, hey, guys, we're kind of going through scenarios here. Like, all these quarterbacks could be on the board for us in the second round except Cam Ward. So I think we need to go into a deeper look here. And I think that's what's happening. Because if you look at the landscape of the draft, and I'm done with my total evaluations now and everything, and I got a good feel, there could be 7 edge guys go in the first round. There could be 7 offensive linemen, maybe 8 go in the first round.
Yeah.
There could be, we know, the 2 tight ends, another 3 defensive tackles. So there, we're already into the 20s. There's a two receivers. The Texas kid and the Arizona kid are going in the first round. Jahad Campbell's going in the first round, right? So you start to get to it, and you start to go, damn, there's like definitely like 26, 27 guys that we know are going in the first round, whether you like it or not. And now we're getting to the end there where, yeah, quarterbacks. And so that's where I think everybody has readjusted to start to go, wait, Cam Ward's gone, but everybody could be there at the end of the first round, and let's get one more look at these guys.
Joe Shane talked about this yesterday. How essential do you think it is the Giants get a developmental quarterback in the building in rounds 2 or 3 to play behind and learn from Wilson and Winston?
I only take a guy if you're sold on it and you really think he could be the guy. What I worry about with the Giants, because my heart's with the Giants always, is just I don't want us just to take a guy just because the fans and we feel like we got to take a guy. And we're not really sure he's the future, but let's see where it goes. That's not what it is. If that's the feeling, punt to next year. Don't do anything. Because we don't need another guy that doesn't have great talent and we don't believe in the equation now. And now we're in the pressure because we took him at pick 34 and Russell or Jameis Winston didn't play very good in week 1, 2, and 3. And now I don't give a crap if you say developmental or not. When you pick somebody at 34 and the season doesn't start the right way, everybody's going to go, why don't we play the young guy? Why don't we play Shedeur Sanders? Why don't we play Jackson Dart? And that's going to cause issues for everybody. So that's all I say is to be careful of that. I'd rather see the Giants go punt on it all, and then you maybe take a chance with a Kyle McCord in the 4th round or something, of somebody that could really be something one day. That's the kind of thing I would like to see rather than, oh, everybody likes Jackson Dart and Tyler Shook, and, oh, I guess we might like them too, so yeah, let's get them. That's not what I want to get behind as a Giant fan or a quarterback evaluator.
All right, final one on the quarterbacks. Let's get back to where we started on Shedeur Sanders. What to you, Chris, is holding him back from, being where Mel Kiper that talks about him, right, as being a guy that could be a great quarterback in the NFL? What are either the traits or the things you see on tape that are holding you back from that evaluation?
Right. I know he's a football junkie, right? Yep. I know he loves the sport. So those are positive things. But at the end of the day, what's holding him back is the same thing that you've probably heard me talk about before. High-end talent. I mean, I don't like these quarterback people who are like, they find other ways. Oh, he's a leader. He's good in the meeting room. He's good in the huddle. When you hear all that crap, that's a warning sign that things aren't that good, right? That's crap. Like, do you think that's why the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes? Because they were like, no, not the talent, it's the meeting room, and he's got $1 million smile. Or the Bills took Josh Allen because they were like, he was so good on the Wonder Lick, we just got to take him, right? Like, get out of here, right? The great ones, just about every one of them has an unbelievable trait. Let's go through it, whether it's the great ones right now of Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen, or Mahomes. Great arms, great athletes. Elway, Marino, Aikman, whoever, you go through it, they were elite talents. And that's not what he is there. He can play quarterback, right? But I don't say wow with the arm. You don't say wow with the athlete. The offense was kind of simple. So there's a lot of things there. Yes, he does some things that quarterback people are going to like, takes too many sacks. So I think those are the things that hold it back and hold me back or anybody back from wanting to take him in the top 10. And I don't get the sense from the league that he's loved that way. There's a disconnect between the public and the league right now because everyone's been fed by unqualified people, highlight anchors telling you he's the best quarterback in football for 2 years where they have no right to be making those type of assessments.
The Giants Huddle podcast is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. From game day celebrations to your everyday financial needs, Big Blue fans can get the most out of every day and moment with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/Giants.
Huddle up, get in here. If you're lined up here, you gotta go over the middle with it to score.
Right. How do we make that happen?
I don't know,
but Citizens does.
Make sense of your money with Citizens, official bank of Eli Manning.
All right, let's jump over to wide receiver, Chris. You have Travis Hunter standalone. Why don't we give this a chance to talk about Travis Hunter? How would you use him in the National Football League? If you're a team, you pick him second. If you're the Browns, you pick him third. If you're the Giants, how would you integrate him into your team? How would you use him? One side, both sides? Because this is really unique to me. I don't think you want to overload a young player with too much too soon, but this guy is so good, you want him to help the team. How would you handle the whole Travis Hunter situation?
He's really good, right? He's to me. Listen, I'll be one to tell you. I think he's a little overrated. I will say that, right? But let me just say this too. I think he's a receiver. That would be my thing. Okay. I would want him to be a receiver. He's made for the modern day NFL. He's a great route runner. He's got incredible ball skills. He's got great hands. His ability to adjust to the ball and 50-50. He plays bigger than his size. The first guy never tackles him, right? But let me just hear you. I'll say this too. I don't like him at receiver as much as I liked Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr. last year, who were my 1-2 off the board. They, to me, they had 3 rockets up their butt. They could make unbelievably explosive plays. You watch Travis Hunter, right? He's a better player than I expected. He's not the explosive athlete I expected. There's less than, right? I mean, again, guys that run 4.4 flat and faster, they have 70 and 80-yard touchdowns. His biggest plays are 40 yards, 50 yards. He's more quick and fluid and can stick his foot in the ground more than just, zoom, I'm going to run by you.
If I had to guess, I think he'd be like a 4.48, 4.5. I
would say exactly right. Exactly right. With an awesome, L drill time.
Yes, correct.
And probably really good at 5.10.5 to where, man, he can get out of breaks. He can turn his hips and do all that. But, yeah, I would say you're right. That's how I feel. Like a 4.5 flattish, maybe a hair better than that. So, but his route running is special, and we talked about that. I would use him as a receiver first and maybe just have a small package for him at DB. And again, with DB, I would, if he was a DB by himself, he's not the first corner off the board. He's not a guy that I would trust on the outside versus any elite receiver in football. He's not going to be able to run with Malik Neighbors and Jamar Chase. They will go right by him for touchdowns. He is more like, I used it as a honey badger in the secondary, a guy that you can do it all. He can tackle. He's got great feel. He's going to get interceptions. You can play him at nickel. He'll stop wide receiver screens. He's quick to stay with some of those jitterbug receivers in there, right? You can play him a little, hey, let's have him be a ball hawk in the middle of the field. But I wouldn't want him on the outside as an island corner. There's better people in the draft than that. I think if he was just a true outside corner, you'd pick him in the 20s. But he's a damn good player, and he can do it all, and I certainly understand people loving him.
So let me ask you this then, and we'll get to the edges a little bit later.
Yeah.
If you were sitting there with the choice between Hunter or Carter, which guy would you pick?
Not even close, right? I'm going Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, for me, the guy like that only comes around every so often. He's rare. He's very, very rare. I from the get-go kind of said, it's Michael Parsons. It's Von Miller-ish, right? Lawrence Taylor. It's that kind of explosive athlete. It's like you turn on the film and you go, is that the best first step I've ever seen in my life? I don't know,
good.
right?
Good.
And then you see the bend around the edge and you go, wow, like, can he get his shoulder on the ground while he's running 4-3 around the corner? Like, it looks like he can. Like, that's crazy. And then he plays with a physical, reckless nature that I love that's needed at the position. Yeah, he doesn't win every physical battle. He's 6'3", 250, but he takes on guards that are 320 like, I'm going to beat him up. And he might lose that battle or whatever, but he goes down fighting. I love Abdul Carter. If he's on the board at number 3, run to the podium, Giants. Take him. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think I would pick Carter too, assuming the medicals all come back clean on him.
That's right.
Because I think at an individual position, he's better at being an edge player than Hunter is at individually being a corner or receiver. And I'm trying not to get myself sucked into the whole two-way player thing. Because
exactly.
In mass on scale, that's not going to work in terms of being a full-time player both ways.
No, I don't think so either. I don't. I think, again, you let them try. Maybe you start with a small package on one side of the ball, see where it goes from there. But there's guys that are better athletes than him and more explosive, and all they're doing is focusing on their one job all the time. And then they're fresh to go because they sat on the sidelines while the defense was out there or the offense was out there. And that's the other element you got to worry about, let alone all the mental gymnastics. This isn't going to be, hey, we're going to line you up here and you run a slant or a go. Or you play DB and we play cover 3 or we play cover 4, or that's all we do. He's now going to be like, what? I'd never had this coverage at Colorado. What the hell are the rules here? Whoa, wait. We have 7 different ways to call the bunch formation just because of the personnel set. And like, holy crap. Like, I didn't know it was like this. That's what he's going to be, in for kind of a rude awakening for, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. All right, your next group of wide receivers are fun. You have Ted McMillan in there, which is not a surprise. I like him too. Jalen Knoll, who I also love. I think he's my wide receiver 5 in this class. I think he's excellent. And then you have Kyle Williams in there, who I was really impressed at in Mobile at the Senior Bowl when I went down there. A smaller guy, but he knows how to get open. Kind of break down that second tier for me.
I love the second tier. I'm sometimes a little different. Again, last year I got dragged because I didn't think Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't the best receiver I've ever seen in the history of the world. Right? Like, get out of here. And again, that goes into people just feeding you all the time. And I turned on the film and I went, what? He's not even this. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. are in a different class than him. What are we talking about here? But yes, there's no just absolute slam dunk prototype freakish type of guy in this draft. The Arizona guy is extremely intriguing, and really other than Travis Hunter at receiver, the only guy I could justify kind of going in the top 15. He's not my cup of tea, okay? But the size and the ball skills are undeniable, right? And he's a pretty good route runner. But he doesn't do much after the catch, and I never liked that kind of guy. I'm a little bit more of a sucker for speed, okay? I am that way. And, the Malik Neighbors type of guy, and I think we all here in New York know why, because, yeah, it's fun to watch when he catches the ball. But the Kyle Williams, hey, 6 foot, right? 188, 192, if I remember correctly off the top of my incredible route runner. I would say he'd be up there with Travis Hunter as the best route runner in the draft. First guy never tackles him, just like a Travis Hunter. And he has 70 and 80-yard touchdowns after catches. He makes people miss and explodes up the sideline. It's like, see you later. He's gone, right? There's more yak and impressive yak from him. I don't think there's any doubt he goes in the top 40, right? I know he's not going to go probably in the first round, but you see teams like the 49ers, the Bears, and Ben Johnson, Mike McDaniel bringing him in. Those are guys that when I hear they're looking at him, I go, oh, I trust their eyes for receivers. I like him. So I think he is made for the NFL and got a chance to be a big-time player. I'm not as big on some of the top names, right? Emeka Ibuka, no way. Doesn't separate. There's no way I'd ever draft him in the first round ever. Ever. No way. Right? A good little player, don't get me wrong, but not a first-round talent. Matthew Golden from Texas, I like him. Again, you watch Texas. Isaiah Bond was their guy before he got hurt, so that tells you a little bit. And nobody was more shocked than Texas that Matthew Golden ran a 4.29. Nothing on film says 4.29.
I agree with that.
It says all possession receiver. And again, another guy that ran 4.29, his longest reception of the year is 50 yards. Most people that have 4.2 speed, there's 80 and 75 and 70 and 85 and 90 on the tape. So that kind of tells you he doesn't play to that speed. Interesting. I think there's a lot of good receivers to get in round 2 and 3 this year in the draft.
Yeah, and I want to talk about you have Trey Harris in your big play upside category,
Right.
but you don't have Burden in there. And I kind of put those guys in the same category a little bit, right? Because I feel like they both ran simplistic route trees in college.
Right.
They kind of flash like, oh, well, there's the change of direction. There's the explosiveness, but I don't know if you see it consistently. So I'm curious how you separated those two guys out from each other a little bit.
Burden was really tough. I think the biggest thing I gave with the Ole Miss kid is he's a true X receiver, where I go, you can just line him up here because of his size. He's a bigger guy than Luther Burden too, to where, yeah, he can catch back shoulders, the jump balls. You're going to feel good about him when he's covered. He's still not covered, right? He's one of those guys, let alone really, I mean, one of the biggest play guys. I mean, you get to see him run away from LSU and Alabama and guys like that where you go, hey, it's the SEC. There's a whole bunch of NFL D-backs, and he's going for 60 and 70 like we're talking about. Burden, I'm with you, and that was one of the toughest leaving him off. I went back and forth. I wasn't in love with the route running, I think, at the end of the day, and a little bit of the size bothered me too. But I see the after-the-catch ability with you, and he's one that I'm willing to admit that I'm scared I might be wrong right? I went back and forth with him a whole lot. I do like Luther Burden.
And then going back to Jalen Knoll, I see a lot of Ladd McConkey in him, to be honest with you. The way he runs his route, he can play inside, but he has speed. He's not just a quick guy. He's an over-the-top guy that plays the slot, which I think, I agree with you, that pushes him up, man, because, look, you can create space at the line of scrimmage who he's not going to get pressed in today's NFL. And once he starts using that explosiveness, he's going to be tough to cover at the next level.
Agreed. That's where it's like, those guys, they all have Travis Hunter, these three guys, they all kind of have a similar skill set and what they are. They're made for the modern day NFL because you can, like you're talking about, they can move them around anywhere. Hey, we need you to do Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type routes. Okay, I could do that. Hey, we need you to get outside and beat people deep like Jamar Chase. Okay, I could do that. Right? That's where I think that's exciting for those guys. And yeah, I'm with you. I really like Jalen Knoll. And just like to peel back the curtain, right? I come out with these rankings pretty early on in the process. I have constantly, over the last few weeks, showed people here at NBC, people kind of like, man, Kyle Williams, Jalen Knoll, holy crap. I mean, I just got to watch him last week. I'm with you. He's unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think either one of them are on the board once we get to about 45. I think there's a great chance they're out of there already.
Yeah, I had a chance to interview Knoll down at the Senior Bowl. Great kid, too. Just an unbelievable
Seems like
kid.
it.
Oh,
professional. You could tell the way he plays and everything. He's polished. He's got it all together.
All right, let's go to the running backs here, Chris. And
we don't have to rush. So if you think I got to be out of here at a certain time, don't worry. We can go a little bit past that. So don't worry. Okay, John?
No worries, Chris. We're all good, man. I want to go to running back. And there's a lot of guys to talk about here. Because I could tell based on the number of guys you've listed here that you like this class as much as everyone else does. Yeah. And no surprise that Genty and Hampton in your top two. How much separates those two in that top tier for you?
Not much. Right? I see it in a little bit in a similar way. Like a few years ago, I put Jamar Gibbs in the same class as Bijan Robinson. And that was kind of like an unpopular take. But like, here's my reasoning. Ashton Genty's awesome. I mean, it's the greatest contact balance you've ever seen. right? I've never seen a guy take more hits, doesn't go down, bounces off, accelerates, does all that. Now, is there a side of me that questions a little bit of how awesome that could be in the NFL for a smaller guy? And as we know, the NFL, everybody's bigger, everybody's faster. It's going to be a better quality of tackler and a more physical game. Yeah, there's a part of me there. And all the other part of it is I don't look at him and just go, woo, like it's 4.3 speed. I don't know if I see that, right?
Yep.
Right. So that's where, okay, I just have a little of pumping the brakes there. But again, awesome top 10 pick. I'm all for it. No doubt about it. I'm just trying to give a little context. Omarion Hampton he's a prototype. He's the prototype. I mean, it's Joe Mixon. That's what we're talking about here. It's like, oh, wow, did they chisel? Is that a Greek god that they chiseled out of stone? I mean, that's the first thing you say, right? And then you go, whoa, what, 220-something pounds? Damn, he can, like, make some sharp cuts. He can break people's ankles. He can push the pile. When nothing's there, he still gets 4. People meet him in the hole. You go, damn, he broke the tackle and got 6. Let alone he might make that guy miss and get 40 or 50 up the sidelines. So to me, he's just made for the NFL to be that bell cow sledgehammer type of pick. And in a draft where there's not a lot of let's say, elite first-round talent type of offensive guys, I think he's one of the few short list guys there. And, yeah, I think he goes somewhere in the top 25 picks, John.
All right, and I love your tier 2 guys here. You label it as starter, maybe superstar. And 2 guys that I have as I think are going to be really good players, Bashal Tutin and RJ Harvey, who I don't know why more people aren't talking about them. Maybe it's their stature.
Keeping quiet, I think. I think they're keeping quiet.
Maybe. What are they, like 5'9", just over 200 pounds? But I think they both run with such a low center of gravity that they're able to take on contact and survive it. And both guys are just a big play waiting to happen.
They definitely are, right? And I'm in love with RJ Harvey. I kind of have a man crush on RJ Harvey.
He's so much fun to watch, man. Oh, it's great.
He does it all. And I'm trying to sit here and talk to you and also break out my notes that I got, because I got 3 different notebooks here. But like with him, because there's just some special things about his game that I like. I mean, first off, he's got the type of, he's not a slasher. He can kind of come up to the line of scrimmage and dance and kind of pick a hole and then go. And right, sometimes you go, hey, put your head down. There's nothing there. Just get the hard yards. But it's hard to argue because he does that and then he bounces outside and you go, whoa, he's going for 80 down the sideline. See you later, right? So that's where you just go, okay, we might have to deal with some of that a little bit as we go forward here.
And Chris, by the way, you talk about that. You talk about Hunter's speed. There's a play back in 2023 where Harvey runs away from Travis Hunter on a deep run, and he just outruns him down the sideline. That's how fast he is.
I remember the play. I watched it. He's got long speed. He's got big-time playmaking, unbelievable speed that way to where, yes, he's great there. He can make people miss, I think, as good as anybody in the draft. The one thing is just the teams that want a guy that just say, go hit the hole and go, that's the guy, they're going to have to figure out whether he's capable of that, right? That's going to be the big thing and the big question with him. But, man, I love him. He's one of my favorite under-the-radar guys in the whole draft. And here, I finally got to it, right, because I write pages of notes like this. I'm old school. I wrote hey, he reminds me of a Josh Jacobs, but he's got better long speed. Okay, that type of body. That's kind of how I looked at it. The ability to do this, he's got some thickness to him. I'm a huge fan of him altogether.
Yeah, me too. And then Tootin, the same deal, man.
Bad. Yeah.
The only problem is that stop fumbling, dude. Like, hold on to the football. If you get past that, I think you have an outside zone scheme where he's able to kind of be patient to the hole and burst through.
Exactly.
And he finishes runs at his size, man. He punishes people at the end of some of these runs.
100%. He runs. Nobody told him what size he is. He
Correct.
thinks he's 230 going through the hole like he's Jerome Bettis or something like that. But yes, I think you hit it spot on. The teams that like that, hey, be patient on the outside zone. You see the hole, put your foot in the ground and go through it like a kamikaze, 9 million miles per hour, right? That's the team that's going to like a Booyah to Tootin. And to your points with the fumbles are an issue, and that's going to have to be something he works on for sure. But I think a little bit of it is because he does run so hard and he hits and he has such contact and violent runs. That's a little part of it. So he's got to work on it. But again, two guys that I'm with you on that I think are second-round picks, really, and starting NFL running backs like from the get-go, and can be special at that, not just starters. They can be special.
And then you have a standalone in your third tier, and I think we're seeing the Chris Sims tendency here. You like the guys that are going to get those explosive runs because you got Travion Henderson coming up next, who has a ton of speed. We started the national title game. I do worry about some of the injuries the 2 years prior, but he's not the biggest guy. But when he has the ball, he's explosive. And you want a pass protector? Then just put Travion Henderson in the game. He's a great blitz pickup guy.
He's crazy aggressive, almost like the guy you just talked about in Tootin, right? Where, I mean, he runs hard. You're like, damn, he brings it. He really does. He's not going to be everybody's cup of tea because he's not a real big guy. He's not always going to get you tough yards. But the teams that want to go get in space, do that a little bit. I mean, he's one of the best big play guys in the draft. That's the big thing. It was tough pickings between him and Judkins, the other running back at Ohio State, because I like him too. But I went with the big play ability. Yeah, Henderson, you're not going to want to go, hey, we want to give him the ball 25 times a game right up the middle between the tackles. That's not what he is. Few carries there, but your few game planned edge runs, a few screens. You can use them in the pass game, and you can get a lot of explosive plays out of him. That's why I really like him.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then you can have your honorable mention category here, Chris. And this is where you have a lot of your bangers, right? You have Judkins, who's a banger. You have Damian Martinez, who's a banger. You have Cam Scatabo, who's a banger. Caleb Johnson, to an extent, he's a bigger guy. I think he did run away from people on tape a little bit better than he did with his 40 time, but he's a bigger guy. And even Raheem Sanders, who's a bigger guy who has some top-end speed too. These are all where you kind of put your, I think, every down. You can give it to them 18, 20 times, and they're going to, to your point, when you're talking about the coaches that want the guys that are going to put their head down and go get yards, right? That's what this group is.
Yeah, definitely. And your spot, like Caleb Johnson, I love his big play ability. What I don't like for him as a big guy is he's got to run harder and run people over and get more tough yards. He runs a little soft that way. And I'm not saying he's soft, but like compared to a guy like Tootin, who's 25 pounds smaller than him, you'd go, wait, he runs through contact and delivers blows way more than a Caleb Johnson. I love me some Damian Martinez down there in Miami. He gives me some James Conner vibes, right? It's a bigger human than you think. He's got very quick feet in the box. He can break tackles. He's a big human. Usually that kind of skill set translates to the NFL, right? So he's definitely one of my under-the-radar, like, down-the-line guys that probably doesn't go to the third or fourth round that I really like and could be your bell cow right away in the NFL.
He's in on your list, but I'm curious what you thought of Dylan Sampson. I was a big fan of him when I watched him. I thought his short area burst and kind of running away from people in small windows was really, really good.
Yes, I listen, I liked him too. And that's why, like you said, this is a class and this is a year where I feel like I wrote 40 to 60 at the end of my notes 80 times, right? Like, it's like, whoa. Or I wrote 25 to 45 like 40 times. And that's what I think we're all, you're hearing it, I'm hearing. I mean, that's what the draft is this year. It might not be as high-end wow, but it's like, whoa, okay, there's a guy or two at the top of every position that's pretty good. But then, man, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all good, and the grades are going to be very close together, right? I think I wrote my big thing with him is all the things you wrote, tough, physical, the change of direction ability is top-notch. I don't think his 40 time – that was my main problem. His top-end speed bothered me a little bit. Between that and being a little bit smaller, I just didn't love that aspect of him, right? I wrote his biggest negative is I don't think he is real fast. Top-end speed is not with the top guys. I would say 4, 5, 8-ish, something like that, right? But the change of direction ability, he can slash and put his foot in the ground. He never loses speed. I like that aspect of him. And then I wrote 80 to 100 for him. And I might be a little wrong with that. I certainly can recognize that.
And I think he's almost a juiced-up version of Jordan James, who is kind of the same type of smaller guy. And I think he is even less juiced than Sampson does, which is why he's a little bit lower for me. But he actually reminds me a little bit of Bucky Irving from last year, who terribly. And I'm
I
not trying to
know.
helmet scout here, but just really good short areas, make people miss, has some wiggle, runs hard for his size. I think those two guys are actually pretty similar.
I hear you there too. There's a lot of down the line guys, right, that I like. I mean, even Cam Scatabo. I like him, right? You look at him and go, wow, I like, you said James Jordan, the Woody Marks from USC. I liked him as well, right? So there's some guys there that that I think we all think could be on the top or on the board late third, fourth round, where you go, damn, we got a player here at running back.
Let me hit two other deeper wide receivers before we switch to defense here, Chris.
Yeah.
Some bigger guys. Jack Besh is a guy that when I saw him at the Senior Bowl, I got to be honest, I didn't love him. He made great contested catches, but I didn't see the separation out of him.
Right.
Then I went back and I watched the tape. I thought he was one of the best receivers in the class at the top of the route, just getting in and out of his breaks and creating separation that way. Him and Royals, another guy that I know a lot of people like more than I do. I don't know if necessarily see the juice there that other people do. I'm curious as to what you thought of Besh and Royals, and then two of the bigger receivers, Higgins, Iowa State, versus Torrey Horton, Colorado State, who I think is a little underrated. Kind of break down those four guys for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first one too, and hold on, damn a
Besh.
second, I'm losing. Yeah, Besh.
Yes.
It's an interesting guy, right? Yeah, he's not gonna wow you with some of that physical play there, or just like the wow off the line of scrimmage. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Yes, at the top of the route, he knows how to lean people and get out of a break, or use his body and get out of a break, right? And do that. The other thing I like about him a lot, and is okay, yeah, he's got a little size and strength, so you love that. And what he is after the catch. I mean, after the catch, he's physical. He's trying to go places, right? So that's where I really loved him more than anything, I think. And again, I don't know if I look at him as a top 60 pick or anything in there, but a guy that, okay, yeah, you can get and do something with when it's all said and done, and maybe be a big slot. And you can move them outside at times too. I think that's kind of how I look at it. The rest of those guys, man, I like them. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm in love with them, okay? And I haven't spent as much time with some of those down-the-line guys. I'm a little bit more of a, right, I'm not all year round Mel Kiper.
Yeah,
I'm
same
kind
here.
of like, I try to shoot for the guys that are going to be first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds. I kind of limit it on, let's just say, the top 150 and all that. I got a feel for those guys. But once I get to a certain number, I just start to go, that's going to be later on in the draft. I'll dive into that a little later. So that's my full disclosure there. I could tell you that I feel like I got a top 15 at every position, and I could go through that. And like Royals, I didn't have in my top 15, if that makes any sense to you there.
If you want to know how to manage 2 minutes of crunch time football, I'm your man. But if you're wondering about a long-term financial plan, you should talk to Citizens. Hey, I can also talk lawn care.
I'd like to learn about a mowing routine.
Yes, I knew I could help. Make sense of your money with Citizens.
No, I think that's absolutely fair. All right, let's jump to the offensive line real quick. You just did this episode recently. You had Orlando Brown on, if I'm not mistaken, right? To kind of break it down with you on, again, the Unbuttoned podcast. Go check it out. You said you could see as many as 8 offensive linemen, I think, in the first round. And I don't disagree with you. I think the tackles that could all go in the first round are Campbell, Membu, Banks, Simmons, and Connerly, right? Those are the guys we talked about on the show.
Right.
And then I think Zabel, Booker, and Donovan Jackson are 3 guards that could all go in the first round as well.
Yes, I think so. I mean, you go the Will Campbell, right? We know him. I don't think he could play tackle in the NFL. I would make him a guard. Okay, so that would be my thing there. And maybe he can do the tackle, but I'm just saying from what I see and what it looks like, and I think most of the league looks at him and goes, he's a guard. That's what he is, right? So there's that. But, yeah, him, Membao, right, from Missouri, I think I look at him and go, wow, the ability to protect is special there. I mean, his pass protection is awesome. The run game needs some work. The kid from Ohio State, Simmons, is special. Okay, he's special. He just got the injury. I think he's probably the best one. If you watch my podcast with Orlando Brown Jr., I think he agrees with that. And if you hear my assessment, I kind of say it too, but the injury kind of bothers you a little bit. You don't know where that's at. But I think, to me, right, the 3 tackles in the first round, just for sure, are Simmons from Ohio State, M'Bow, for sure, and I'm blanking on my other one that I had.
Connerly?
Oh yeah, no. Connerly, I think is a guard. I would put Connerly as a guard. I mean, he could maybe do tackle, but he's smaller. He's more of an athlete, right? I think he'd be best at guard rather than tackle. I
love his feet. I worry about his play strength. That's kind of how I look at Connerly.
That's what I'm talking about, right? The how can you not be worried a little bit about the anchor? That's what I really get down to. And I'm still feeling
Kelvin Banks.
Kelvin Banks, the Texas kid.
Yep.
I think is also a guard.
Yeah, so do I
look at him as a guard. It's too all over the place with technique and pass protection, right? The anchor a little bit. I see like pass protection. Sometimes I go, oh, this time he played basketball. The next time he did the karaoke drill. Like it's just a little all over the place. But his run blocking is phenomenal. And that's where I like him. So M'Bow, Josh Simmons, for sure tackles. Let me give you another one that I think should be borderline first tackle, or tackle in the first round, I should say. It's the kid from Minnesota.
Ariante Ursary, right.
Ariante Ursary is the guy to me that is being overlooked here.
He's gigantic. He's
gigantic. He's got great feet. He pass protects really well. Does he need a little work in the run game department and the wrestling matches? Sure, yeah. But, man, when it comes all down to it, there's not that many guys with that size that can protect the quarterback. Like, would I be shocked if the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 31 took Ursary? No, I would not. I think he's capable of being that top guy. But to me, those are the three best tackles. I think those are the tackles, and everybody else I kind of look at to go, Booker's a guard, Connerly's a guard, Donovan Jackson, of course, Ohio State, I felt like it was a guard. Yep. The kid at North Dakota State, he's a guard for me. Maybe he can play tackle, but he's very much like Will Campbell.
Yeah.
But there we are right there. We're talking 6 or 7 guys that I think – in the NFL right now, where teams can't find enough good offensive linemen and every team has 8 good D linemen, there's an offensive line problem in the NFL right now. That's where I'm kind of like coming around to, if I'm a GM, I'm putting some of these guys at a premium right now. I'll see the Philadelphia Eagles who win the trenches every game, or a lot of the other good teams. And that's where I kind of like this group maybe more than most.
No, look, I think if you need a tackle, they're going to run out really fast in this draft.
I think so, right.
But I think guards, I think you can find some value there, certainly. All right, let's jump to the defensive side of the ball, Chris. Edge, where we talked about Abdul Carter. Boy, I don't know how many times I went through the rest of these edge players and tried to put them in order, and it's just really hard. Do you care about production? Do you care about traits? Do you want the smaller guy? Do you want the bigger guy? This was just, I think, after you get past the top guy from picks, to your point before, 12 to 50, how you stack these edge guys is really, really tricky.
Yes, it is. But they're good, right? And then here we go where I go, okay, Abdul Carter, first rounder, top 3 pick, boom. Okay, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, Mike Green, Marshall, the 2 Georgia kids, the kid from Tennessee, Pierce, and then the kid from Boston College, Izarike, right? That's 7. I think all 7 of them are first round caliber type of players, right? I see it. Now, my ranking, of course, Abdul Carter, I had him 1. Shamar Stewart and Mike Green were the next 2 guys for me. Shamar Stewart, I know everybody's going to go, you only had 1.5 sacks, right? There's not enough production. And the thing I tried to explain to everybody is disruption is production. When you F the play up, that's a big positive for an NFL defensive team. There you go. Whoa, he didn't make the tackle. He didn't get on the stat sheet, but he's actually responsible for all the success we had on that play. So that's a real thing. And he's built like Myles Garrett, right? I think he's special. I would take Shamar Stewart in the top 15 of the draft. I wouldn't even blink. Yeah. And Mike Green, it's about the same thing. Again, I think he's special that way. I'm not as high on the Georgia guys. I like Mykel Williams. The Javon Walker, to me, is the most mind-blowing thing to me in the draft. I think he's the most overrated guy in the draft. He's not that great of a middle linebacker. He's not that great of a pass rusher. But he went to Georgia, and just nobody's going to get off of it. There's nothing you could say. He's got 6 sacks. He's got 5 more sacks than the kid from Texas A&M. I go, if you watch best plays, pressures, disruption, all that, it's not even comparable. The kid Jalen Walker, all his sacks are like coverage, and then he goes and gets the guy. Or they miss assignment, the block, and then he gets the sack. Or the quarterback runs out of the pocket, and then he goes and runs them down. It's not like, oh, he dominated a tackle, or he got around the edge, and oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. There's less with that than him of anybody, but it's a damn good group. I like them all. I really do. But like I said, that's the one I don't like, Jalen Walker. The rest of them I'm big fans of.
A guy like Walker, I do think he has really good burst and bend around the corner.
Yeah.
But right. I do think the problem you run into with him, and I'm actually higher on him than you are, but what I having trouble kind of computing in my head, once he makes contact with the offensive tackle and they get his hands on him,
it's
and
over.
His size,
it's
he doesn't
over.
have long arms. He's having some trouble with that. So I don't know how to kind of put that into the equation.
I agree with what he is explosive. He's got a great first step. I mean, he's fast, but he's 6'1". He's 6'1". He gets swallowed up all the time. And I don't think his bend is as good as some of those other guys, right? I would tell you, the kid from Alabama, Jahad Campbell, I'd go, he probably has the second best first step in the draft. I mean, for everything talking about with Jalen Walker, I just go, I think Jahad Campbell's better at everything than Jalen Walker. But I know.
And by the way, if you see Campbell in person, he's a much bigger frame than Walker too.
And I know, I've seen him. I was there at the combine with you and interviewed them. And that's another thing. 6'1" pass rushers. I got the sense watching Georgia film too, they were a little bit like, we got better middle linebackers, so let's put him over here, right? Oh, on first and second down, we don't want, he's one of our best defensive players. What do we do with him? We don't want him at DN on first and second down, so let's put him back at linebacker, right? That's kind of the sense I got watching him. I'll be very interested to see where he goes. I really will. He's the one I question, but hey, there's some depth at this position as well. There's a lot of good players here to have on the edge.
All right, Chris, let's wrap things up with cornerback here. Tell me why I'm wrong about Will Johnson and why my take is bad. When I watch the tape, even going back to his 2023 tape, I just feel like there are too many plays where he plays very soft and he allows easy catches in front of him.
Right.
And I can't understand why a guy with all that length, he flashes really good instincts. We see the interceptions in 2023. Why he just allows so many easy catches in front of him.
I hear
Throw
you.
in the fact at the end of the 2023 tape, we saw him get run past a number of times, and you combine those two things, and it scares the hell out of me.
I hear you. I mean, I know what you're saying, but this is where I think you got to take this into account sometimes. He's not the coach and the defensive coordinator. They're telling him to play there. He's not going, hey, coach, screw you. I'm going to do what I want. Jim Harbaugh, you don't know anything. I'm playing bump man-to-man here.
Right.
Like that. So you got to take that into an account of what he's being asked to do. Yeah, I'm with you. I wish he would play more. He's made to play bump man-to-man, right? He's made for it. Exactly right. But with the size, the ball skills, his ability to kind of accelerate and explode out of breaks, out of backpedal, that's special for his size. The long speed, I'm with you. We can question that a little bit. But as I dive through it more and more, I was like, he can go. I don't know if it's 4.32. I don't think it's that. It's probably like 4.4 flat, something in that range, right? But, I'm a big fan of him. I do. And I think he is one of the true shutdown, islandy type of corners. But I'm with you and I'm wishing he played more man-to-man. And I think when he gets to an NFL team, that'll start to happen right away.
I liked your second group here. You have Travis Hunter in your alone tier. Then you have Hairston, Porter, and Ravel, who I think are all really interesting, long corners. Hairston's a little bit lighter than the other two guys in terms of weight, but all of them are long and they can run.
Exactly. Right. I mean, again, you heard what I said about Travis Hunter. I really like him. But I value the guys that can play on the outside and go, wait, I got him, coach.
Right.
That's it. You can do whatever you want with everybody else. I got him, right? And that's, what really, again, going back to our quarterback situation, The great ones have great physical skills, ability, speed, and that's why they're great, right? Well, the corner that's like, oh, he just knows how to play the game and he's smart and understands angles. I don't know any of them in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. But Deion Sanders and Darrell Revis and Champ Bailey, who I played with, yeah, they had rockets up their ass. That's why they were in the Hall of Fame. They could go, right? They could cover. I got you, period. So I'm a little bit more of a favor. I favor that type of guy. And man, like those other three, I love the kid from Kentucky, Maxwell Harrison. To me, he's a first-round pick, right? We don't have Jahdae Barron on the list. I didn't put him on the list. I like him, but again, he's not an outside island type of corner. I know he's going in the first round. I'd love to have him on my team. He's just not the guy you can go, you get Malik Neighbors and cover him 40 times this game. Like, he'd have no chance. Malik Neighbors would have 600 yards receiving in that game. So, because, like, I don't make him there, but I understand where he is, right? But Maxwell Harrison, he can be able to run with anybody. I mean, he makes Matthew Golden, who ran 4.29, look slow on film. I mean, Matthew Golden catches some balls over the middle. He runs them down like he's running. He's still. Isaiah Bond, who is and was the fastest guy at the Texas, he runs him down on post routes. So I love him. My next man crush, other than RJ Harvey, though, is Darian Porter. Darian Porter, the story is unique.
It is.
But going back into in a draft where there's not a lot of freaks, he's one of them. He's one of the freaks. I've never seen a corner his size move the way he does. He's better than Tariq Woolen coming out. I've said on my podcast, his speed, his hips, his ability to plant the foot in the ground and drive on the ball, it's really every bit as good as Sauce Gardner coming out. Every bit. Now, he's not quite the player and have the instincts and some of the ball skills because he doesn't have the experience yet. But, man, the movement is special, and I like him a lot. If I'm in the second round and I need a corner, I'm telling you, I might be running to the podium for Darian Porter.
All right, last position here, Chris. I went through the shows, and maybe I missed the rankings. I could have. Did you have a chance to look at the defensive tackles at all? Because I do think it's a really good class at that position. Yep. The Giants could certainly use one on day 2, and there'll be plenty of choices. How do you look at the defensive tackles in this class?
Yeah, I look at it like, one, I mean, as far as defensive tackles, okay, I mean, I like the course Mason Graham. The 2 Michigan kids are the top guys for me, right? If you want the disruptive chaos creator, Mason Graham's your guy. If you want the guy that can hold double teams, right, and push the pocket a little bit and do that, then you're going to like Kenneth Grant a lot, right? The other guy, so those are, to me, I think, both first-round picks. I feel like maybe the Kenneth Grant guys maybe on the edge of the first round, maybe second round for some people. We'll see where that goes, right? But I feel like at least that's the feel I get from other people. The kid from Oregon, Derek Harmon, right?
Love Harmon. I love Harmon.
Right. No doubt a first-rounder. So he's D tackle who could play shade nose tackle, 3 technique, 5 technique. He can do it all. He's got long arms. He gets off blocks. He can hold his ground, right? So I'm with you. I love him as well. I think the kid from Texas, Alfred Collins, is a hell of a player. Now,
huge.
Huge. And he's not going to be sexy on film. Again, going back to what he was asked to do. And that's where you got to go. He wasn't allowed to just go, I'm going to go upfield. I'm going to go upfield. They kind of asked him, hey, hold the guy, 2 gap, throw him away, make the tackle. Oh, he's going this way, throw him the other way, make the tackle, right? So that's what he was asked to do, and he's special in that department. So I really like them. And then, yeah, there's some down-the-line guys, again, like we talked some of the other positions, second, third round, where I go, damn, they're going to start real early on in their career. They're that caliber of player.
All right, Chris, to wrap things up, you want the Giants to do well. You have familial connections to the Giants with your dad, obviously. What's your ideal draft look like for the Giants here? You can go as deep as you want, or if you just want to focus on the top, that's fine too. How do you think the Giants help their organization short and long term the most in this particular draft?
I want Abdul Carter at 3 if he's there, right? I do. I mean, I'm a little bit of like with the Travis Hunter. If he's there at 3, I want to be like a little like we don't need a receiver. We're kind of good. We're actually, I think, pretty good at DB too. I mean, I'm a fan of what we did in the offseason. I think the Maryland kid's still pretty good. Paulson Adebo, if he doesn't get hurt, is going to get top of the market money for corner. He's an island shutdown guy. And I love Javon Holland. So I'm not like I said, I'm a little lower on Travis Hunter, but I understand he's going in the top 3 or 4. I get it. But I want Abdul Carter at 3. I want a difference. We need an offensive lineman in the second round. That's what I would really rather go because, I don't love the quarterbacks. We need an offensive lineman that can contribute to our football team and start building for the future in that department. So that's where I'd like to see them kind of make those type of moves. And early on in the draft, I want to see them focus on that. I think those are the 2 things that jump out to me more than anything.
Chris, I'm with you, man. We mentioned the shows already, but tell the folks where they can find everything you're doing with the NFL and the draft.
Well, I'm on Pro Football Talk every morning on Peacock from 7 to 9 a.m. I do Chris Sims' Unbuttoned podcast twice a week this time of the year. And then, as you know, during the season, Football Night in America, Sunday night pregame show, I do that as well. But, everything NBC Sports, you can find my big mouth, ugly mug there whenever you want.
And, of course, the college football coverage as well, as you mentioned. So
college
whole
football,
lot.
Big Ten on Saturdays. I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it all.
Dude,
right.
how do you manage NFL and college prep at the same time? Like, I'm being very genuine here. How do you do that? That's really tough.
It's trust me, I pushed back against NBC when they first told me. I was like, what? Like I first saw, hey, I'm doing more, I think, than anybody in the company anyways, but you want me to do one more thing? What? Right? So I've had to compartmentalize where I go basically Sunday till Thursday, 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'm all NFL. And then I get to Thursday afternoon and I go, wait, NBC, we got these games. And I sit there Thursday and Friday and break down the teams that are going to play in college football on our channel and do it that way. But, yeah, it's not always easy. It definitely stressed me out some weeks, John, for sure.
Chris, good stuff, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the process. And then enjoy some time off in May, June, and July, please. I think we all need it before we gear up for another year, my man.
You know it, man. I appreciate you having me, John. And let's go, G-Men.
That's Chris Sims from NBC Sports. We appreciate him joining us right here on the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. We're from the Hackensack Meridian Health podcast studio. Keep getting better. For Chris Sims, I'm John Schmeelk. We'll see you next time on the Giants Huddle podcast.